I wanted to talk about another huge story happening in Hollywood right now. And you and I don't even know if we're allowed to say.
We're not allowed to
We're
say
not to
it,
say. Okay,
but
I
we
won't say.
got a chance to work together for the first
Yes,
time.
we
And
did.
it's top secret, but boy, was it fun.
It was fun. My IMDb is gonna say I starred alongside Holly Robinson
Yeah,
Peete. So,
right.
so
Well, that's going to
that'll
be
be
fun.
great.
So stay tuned for that.
Yes, stay tuned for that. But while we were doing this secret thing that we can't tell you about, we got into a conversation about this tragic event that happened on the set of the film Rust. That is starring Alec Baldwin. A lot of you may have heard about it by now. But unfortunately, a cinematographer, Helena Hutchins, lost her life as she was working on this film because as Alec Baldwin was rehearsing a shooting scene, he fatally shot her. And this has had a dramatic and devastating impact on not just her family. Obviously, a lot of people in Hollywood are rethinking how they do things since she was shot with a single live round. And the director of the film was also injured as well, but he's expected to make a full recovery. I mean, Holly, you were on 21 Jump Street. You've been on Law and Order SVU. You starred and been in a number of productions that are dealing with live ammunition or live rounds, rather, blanks, guns, that kind of thing. As an industry vet, what do you make of all of this?
It's just negligence. It's just pure, total negligence that comes down to money. You know, these productions are money. The production manager's job is to keep you under budget. Sometimes that means cutting corners. And I think on this, I think now since we work together, we had that discussion. We have we have more information now, right, about what happened and based on crew members that were there. And I have friends who are friends of crew members that were there too. So we've heard the stories now. I think it's just going to come down to negligence, cutting corners. I was recently on a movie where we had to shoot 2 hours outside of where we normally shoot, and they were not offering. The production was not offering an option to stay out there. So in other words, after you work a 15-hour day, you got to then drive 2 more hours and then be back the next morning. And so I, as one of the EPs on the project, had to step in and go, hey, look, I will put everybody up in this little motel over here to keep you guys from driving in this bad weather. And then everything worked out fine. Production was like, okay, we're good. We're going to put them up. But my point is, if you don't have someone advocating for you, and I think in this case with Rust, that they had lots of complaints about people having to drive and being tired. And, you know, we've been seeing this thing with IATSE, with the union, and talking a lot about this leading up to this situation, which I feel is so ironic that we were talking about conditions and they, you know, and how crews are treated and safety on sets. And then this thing happens. So as you mentioned, yes, I was on 21 Jump Street, you know, many years, 35 years ago. But when I first stepped on that set, every single day on that set for all those seasons, there were guns. And there was a gun coordinator, a stunt coordinator who would open up the gun, show everybody. And then there were dummy guns. He would let people be aware of which ones were real, which ones weren't, and that chambers were all empty. Never in a million years did I ever worry that when I picked up a gun and pointed it at a perp, you know, the actor, and shot a blank, that real live ammunition would be in there. There's absolutely never any excuse for that to happen. And so this is going to come down to negligence, cutting corners, treating crews like shit, basically, like they don't matter. And a woman is dead, and a mom. And so unfortunately, it's going to have reverberations all through the industry, which it already has. You mentioned Law and Order. I mean, Jump Street was many, many years ago, but I've been on lots of sets with guns since then. And just 2 years ago on Law and Order, I was a distraught, bereaved cop who was suicidal. And I had to hold this gun in my hand. And I mean, the protocols we went through with this gun they were just never stopped. I was like, okay, I got it. I've been around. It's okay. So my point is that we have to do better. There is never any excuse for that. And I just feel so awful that happened because you don't hear about things like that too often, because that's how safe usually guns are treated on sets.
Yeah, because immediately everybody started thinking about Bruce Lee's son, Brandon Lee. because
And
that's
how
how
long
we
ago was that? That was, that
yeah,
was quite some time ago.
it
And
was.
John Eric Hexum, well, he was some time ago too. And but that is never anything that could ever happen or should ever happen on a set.
As an actor, how reluctant does it make you? Like if somebody approached you today and said, "Hey, we have a shooting scene," like how would this change your approach if you're asked to again play a character where a gun is involved?
I don't think it would change my approach too much because I would never be on a set where where protocols were skipped. So that's on the producers and on the number one and number two on the call sheet. If you see that something is going, people are cutting corners, and there were rumors that people were firing guns and target practice and stuff on that. If you see those things and as a number one on the call sheet or number two or producer, you don't shut this mess down all the way, then you're complicit too. Unfortunately, you are. I don't know what that means as far as charges and all that. And it's not about blame, but you do have to hold people accountable. And if you see this going on and you don't say anything, or you just continue through your day as the number one actor on the call sheet, you're putting your crews at risk. And I can't tell you how many times I have pulled I'm not a diva on set, but I have pulled a couple of moments like that when I knew that there might be some kind of risky scenario. Like, no, what you're not going to do is rush us through this scene. One of the movies, they were lighting a propane lighter in a movie I did, and you could tell it had never been lit before. Like the price tag was still on it. And so the guy that was lighting it up, I pushed all the actors back, being the OG of the crowd. I said, we're not sitting here. We're going to light this. We're going to back up. And sure enough, Jemele, that thing, poof, went up. The poor guy's arm hairs burned off. He went running down the street. And I was like, they were like, Holly, you saved a life. Okay, I didn't save anybody's life, but I might have saved some eyebrow hairs.
You ain't lying. I was like, but while you playing, you really might have saved somebody.
Okay,
for sure.
So I mean, I'm just saying that I, as an actor, especially if I'm on the top of the call sheet, I take responsibility. The crew is everything. Like, you got to treat them well. My mom, who's an OG manager back in the day, and she used to always tell me, you be good to the crew, they'll be good to you. And they take your reputation to their next movie and go, oh, well, what was it like working with that one? Oh, she was this, that. So that's how you get a reputation. And that's how you remain professional. So I don't play when it comes to the crew. I don't play when it comes to their safety. And I just still really can't wrap my mind around the fact that this actually happened.
Well, on a lighter note, since you dropped in 21 Jump Street, I know there's a lot of 21 Jump Street fans who are listening to this podcast. Certainly a show that I loved, coming up. Y'all were just such a beautiful cast too. On top of that, I was like, these are some good looking folks on here.
It was just such a, I still can't believe that was so long ago. And then, a fun fact a lot of people don't realize is that Johnny Depp was a recast. So when he came in, another actor had already shot an entire 2-hour pilot. That's when we used to do 2-hour pilots for the Fox network. Yes, for the Fox network, which was this is not American Idol Fox. This is not Channel 99 and a coat hanger Fox. We didn't have affiliates. We were starting out, and 21 Jump Street was one of the very first shows, along with Married with Children and Tracy Ullman, some other shows. And so we didn't know what we were doing. And then they said, oh, you're going to go to Canada, to Vancouver to shoot this. And I was like, wait, I didn't know anything was above Seattle. I was so naive as a 20-year-old. But yeah, so Johnny was not the original Tom Hansen. And we were all nervous. We thought we all wanted to get fired when that other actor was replaced. So when he came in, pretty much wearing the same little outfits he's wearing now, maybe with a little extra scarves and extra little embellishments.
Right. Came in like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pretty much. Same little hat, same little boots. And we were like, wow, who's this cat? But we kind of knew, like, he definitely had that extra, like the extra thing. But what a great show to have been part of. I loved my character, Judy Hoff. I wanted to be her. Like, she was just the coolest girl next door, but don't mess with her. Only girl in the group. And I'm still pretty close with most of those guys. And it's just really great to be part of like an iconic show like that.
Yeah, and then they go on to remake it. you know, with Channing Frye, you had a cameo in that, which I thought was great. Listen, nostalgia's in right now, and I don't know why they don't just reboot the show, right?
Well,
And
they would never get Johnny. They would never get Johnny, but they
no,
could
they just put you in different roles, though. They put you guys in different roles, like a young cast, the younger generation of 21 Jump Street, because we know y'all can't go back to high school. I mean, you kind of could, Holly, while you playing, but right? It's like they couldn't do that, but they could have
but
you.
I could be. Listen, when we last left Judy Hall, she was a detective.
See what I'm saying?
She could be the captain of the police department and
Correct.
could be running that Jump Street program right now. I'm just saying. So, you know, I am right with you that there is a remake, a reboot version of 21 Jump Street, the series that definitely should be there for sure.